Ladies and gents, welcome. We are TFTV 1. I'm eepily, joined with DuMmTm and Beta. We have War and Sons versus Or Electro. I know what you're thinking. It's week 3, but we're already into those big boy games, which is going to decide who's going to be in playoffs for this season. It's actually ridiculously crucial for both teams. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting. DuMmTm, you're going to be casting alongside me today. What are you feeling? You're the boy who knows everything, all the insider gossips. What's going to be happening surprising this game?
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a playoffs decider pretty early, and it's going to be interesting. Aura already dropped some surprising points to Goonscott, but got some out of Feint by nature of Feint not having the best roster availability last week, so had to scramble a bit together. So they got an upset point there, but lost 3 to Goonscott, which all in all leaves them in a tough position to still make it. And Warren Suns is one of the other high likely favorites to make playoffs, and with 3 points out of Ascent that they got, they are looking mighty pretty. Losing out here would be detrimental for them, like nothing else would be, because these are the teams that are really close. Like these two and top 5 are the most likely contenders for like the 4th playoff spot in most people's opinion. So the head-to-head is just hugely important. I think Warren Suns are going to go into this as the favorite. They've been looking a little bit less strong than Aura has been on Sunshine, and Aura is just self-proclaimed like masters of Sunshine. I always bring this up, but I just love to quote Eames once said that Sunshine is his city on the stream once. But they love Sunshine. They didn't look as good in the last few games I've seen them play on product, and Warren Suns looked quite a bit better. And what's interesting is I had a quick chat with Kelvin the other day, the medic on Warren Suns. They've been trying to improve their aggressive playstyle. They try to employ aggression that like always keeps fights up as much as possible, to not let the other team like have a quiet moment to set up a good defense. And especially for a map like Product, this could be interesting. We'll see how it works out for them.
Yeah, we've been seeing. I'm sure everyone's had their fair share of looking at some of the logs for these War and Sons Viaduct games. Like we've seen Kunu just absolutely popping off. War himself, the big boy, the dad of the team, he's been just like absolutely pounding. I think everyone at this point's probably seen, in scrims they've beaten 7 the kings themselves of Europe on this map, and I feel like it's gonna be hard for Or Electro because as much as Or Electro's got some like crazy good players, it seems like I don't know. This Warren Suns team, like they seem to have been really putting in like that preseason work and like been really getting their stuff down. So I feel like on a map like Viaduct, where it's like so much of it is like team play based, like you've got the individual kind of DM and focus fire kind of stuff, but so much of it is like playing the map, playing the time, like playing the position, getting the damage out, and like you said, this aggressive play, which from the looks of things, Warren Suns just seems to maybe have that little bit of a been able to eke out slightly. I mean, earlier on in the season, we did see Everix absolutely decimate Ascent. He got like 29 frags on Granny or something. And like, I don't know, like, because to look at this roster, no BM, but this isn't a roster which you necessarily think this could be like a top 3 finishing Prem team. But like 100% they could be. Like on their day, they are like easily up there with the big boys. And I think it all just, today it's going to turn up to really who's on their best version of the game. I mean, we do have some slightly different players going on here. So we do actually have Martin playing in the place of Demos on Or Electro as a straight up Merc. I think they were going to get Stark initially, but last minute, or at least fairly last minute, they ended up changing over to Martin, who by no means should be a kind of a massive downgrade. He's not the regular player, but Martin is obviously an incredibly competent Prem level medic, and he's merked around for a lot of teams, so he's useful. He's used to playing a lot of different play styles. On the side of the fake Germans, we have Voxtech instead of Shocky, which, as we were discussing a little bit in the precast, I mean, Voxtech is on the roster and he is like one of their like 3 main scouts, but he is technically in the place of Shocky today, even though he is like on the roster anyway. So it's kind of like one team's missing 1, the other team's missing like 0.1.
Yeah, it's a bit weird with them. They very much willingly took the situation that Kuno couldn't play like all of the season, still most, but not all. And Voxy was still very much down to his play anyway, and can attend LAN. Well, I don't think Shocky can, so they just rotate their scouts out depending on what they need. And in theory, you would imagine this leads to a position where they could just have one on sniper and have the other 2 play scout and
Honestly,
legitimately play with 3 snipers. But they don't strike me as that kind of team to want to play a sniper here much. Sure, Kuno probably might switch off to it a little bit, but I would be surprised if they don't stick to double scout, double sortie for the majority of the game, just so they have the damage on the soldiers as well as the ability to clean up quickly with the scouts as reliably as they want to. So I would be surprised if we don't see mostly vanilla lineups on both of these teams, especially from Aura. who rarely ever snipe on Project. They would just want to play the map and want to play it well with what they have.
I think we're going to be going live in just a couple seconds, but I think we should probably throw out some predictions. Let's just talk about Viaduct in particular. To me, there seems like a fairly clear-cut favorite, but who would you say most likely going to eke out this first map here?
I think it's going to be a free round for the Germans. They've been looking fairly strong, and from what I've seen playstyle-wise, I think Aura's going to struggle with this one. The aggression is going to be hard to adapt to, I believe.
Well, I'll be honest, I'd love to disagree with you. I'd love to say, no, Dom, you got no idea what you're on about, but honestly, it's seeming good for War & Sons. That being said, I think 90% of predictions I make turn out to be utter nonsense. So, yeah, I'm gonna go War & Sons still. I think it's gonna be a pretty good game, but ultimately, I think that it's gonna be a little bit better at this map. But you know, Sunshine could be anything. I feel like there's a small chance, maybe about 10% chance that if War & Sons go 2-0 up, we might see about 30 seconds right at the end of the War Sniper. I kind of want to see it, you know, just for like the BM, just to like get in their heads for like game 2, you know?
Maybe wouldn't be unheard of.
No.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing how that goes down, and it would be the first time he did it, like you said. So it's like not uncharted territory.
No, he is like the registered Highlander sniper main, you know?
Yeah, I mean, last time when he did it, it was a little bit more justified with the circumstances of the game, but you never know.
All right, gonna be going live here. Oh my god, I love it already. Or Electro checking both spies in spawn, checking crits and mediguns and absolutely everything, different off classes. But we're gonna be rolling out to mid here. This is Viaduct game 1, War & Sons versus War & Electro. Nice damage down onto War immediately, playing a little bit behind the point, but he wants to be getting aggressive. Both soldiers from side of Electro. Oh my god, they're getting so much damage, they're getting cleaned up. These quick frags from Kunu, so crucial here. Does look like Yeehor's managing to get forward. He managed to get one frag towards War, but he's just getting cleaned up now as well. Looking super good. Fitchcop towards his connected position. Doesn't look like he's going to go any further. And thankfully there, Martin did live. Good aggression from the side of War Electro, but great cleanup from the War & Sons scouts.
Yeah, it took all the time to trace aggression, but they really didn't play aggressively on the mid. They just let people come to them, and Scout just took them apart by there. So that's one way to do it. Now Aura has to approach point here, which makes all the dynamic here go a little bit different. They, on the German side, can just hang back a little bit more relaxed and just throw the damage safely from behind the point, which is what they're trying to do so far, and just let Aura come forward into the speedrunner.
Yeah, you do see the entirety of War & Sons, they're playing a little bit behind point, but these crucial stickies and these focus calls of where these Aura Electric players are moving towards point, they really can't get any significant cap time here, so it does look like they're going to want to jump pretty deep and try at least to force off some kind of trade. They're getting a lot of time, they're actually very nearly cap it now. Both these soldiers on the side of Aura Electric getting so much distraction and even getting the force off now towards Kelvin. You get cleaned up though, only losing Voxtech. But in all this time, the clock's is going further and further down. We do still have an Uber on the side of Martin. Does look like they want to re-aggress, but they really can't until their soldiers are up. The deep bombs from everyone. Oh my god, so much damage. Taking down Yeehor, forcing off this Uber, and even some of their players living. This is potentially disastrous with the Eames getting down so weak towards point. Such a crucial rocket from Everex. And I mean, they will maybe just about be able to cap here, but it's going to be difficult here.
It just really shows the difference between these two teams as well. Aura was so careful about approaching point there for way too long. Only capped just now, they delayed for spawns as well. And the Germans, the moment the thing was losing for them, they just went in deep, got what they needed to, and immediately are in a better position yet again with 40%.
That's absolutely nutty. We're going to be seeing this Uber very close inside of War & Sons, but they don't even need it right now. Kelvin does actually get piped, so he does lose his life as they try and move forward, but there's so many more frags. Or Electro getting stuffed all the way into this corner and backing up straight to spawn. So at least for a moment towards this clear path side, they will have this Uber advantage, but I mean, last time we saw that advantage, it really ended up being about 30 seconds or so. Picking up War though. Not quite sure where he was playing to just be a little bit overextended. That's a really important frag. Does look like they might be able to walk up to point. Pretty crucial, but no! It's gone from the sky. 2 rockets straight onto Martin. Another drop in this game. This is pretty brutal. Does look like they capped though, but at what cost?
That was a huge bomb. He just went up to the skybox and immediately hits the perfect rocket straight onto the monster's head. Couldn't serve that whatsoever. And yeah, both teams going blow for blow with these medics. Kelvin again in a lot of trouble as soon as once the revenge frag, but the rest of his team is there for the follow-up and needs to poison get that between each other. Perfectly coordinated there. And I really like to see that. Not just have everybody jump at the same time, but slightly delayed bombs. Just so you can react to where the medic is surfing, and there was no escape for Kelvin after the first jump. They were just on his case the moment he landed.
Exactly, they took that moment to wait. They waited for that damage call, for the positional call, and then at that point it was basically a guaranteed frag there onto Kelvin. But in all of this scrappy fighting, there's actually equal Ubers, now equal players. We do still have War and Sons in control of the point. So you see Aura trying to take this position, get forward, at least try and get some cap time here. Nice pipes from Eames. War as well. Yes, Eames hitting these crucial shots. Again though, Martin getting cleaned up along the side here. I mean, they'll gain control of point, but once again, it's uber disadvantage. I feel like this first round, they're going to get really, really down to the wire.
Yeah, Uberzunas tries to have fancy play from behind the lines, but gets spotted early in spawn, can't really get behind them, moving out to cliffside here on the German side, so they're slowly taking position, and with Kelvin having this massive ad now off of Martin's late death on this hack attempt, they're gonna be just comfortably taking first to the point, or a hard press to do something here.
Yeah, you do see them trying to take point for free here. They're getting some decent damage. They do end up having to use Kelvin going super, super weak. And they pick up Martin. That's absolutely perfect for them. None of the frags matter at this point, as long as they can all survive this deep bomb. Oh my god, Kelvin somehow living there. This other soldier, he gets cleaned up completely. That's so good from Kelvin. They're staying alive here. He might even just be able to win the round purely just from surviving there with his little bit of Uber advantage now. It's going to be so hard. They need to push with no time to wait for this Uber. Martin's just got to move forward with the rest of his team. The only saving grace is that War is still down.
Yeah, that's actually pretty big. There's so much damage lacking. No, they just need to power through this 5-man defense here and take the better end of this. And for the moment, War and Sons are respecting it, but they have soldiers coming from front and back. Nice fish comes straight on the medic. Misses the first shot, gets the second one, needs so much more, but Martin is just surviving. War now on the field with the scouts, want this cleanup, but it's looking mighty dire. War decides to just go in deep again, but this time Martin doesn't wait on cliff, goes into spawn safely. And War gets picked apart by the scouts, just what you want to see on Aura's end here, and it is what they need so desperately. It's still a dis-ad, but at least they have some players.
No! Kelvin! That's disastrous! He even dies there! Both scouts died, just not quite ready with the Uber, and they're actually going to lose control of point. This is... I mean, that's tilt. If you're either of just scouts right now, that is absolute tilt, and this might be everything that Aura Electra needs to get back into this. They're going to have full Uber, 1 minute on the clock. Even Kelvin getting his Uber here is going to be pretty hard pressed. That's so disastrous!
That was such a lucky play that it just barely worked, but if Poison gets the crucial kills, and Warns now on the offense need to push forward, need to get presence on the point and want this Uber out of the equation, but they're not quite getting through. Evac gets taken down, Fish still in the back, but really weak. Aura wants to come forward, but as soon as Poison both go down early.
Yeah, we do see this Uber finally get used, but they've lost so many players. It is basically a 3v3 now. They've just about stopped War and Sons from capping the point, but there's so much time. And obviously, War and Sons at this point, they don't have control of the point. They're going to have much faster spawns. Literally, at this point, if they tickle it just enough, they have 1 second on the clock. It's almost the same as being on overtime now. So you're going to see aggression from the side of War and Sons, moving up to this right-hand side of point. Scouts already getting onto point. As long as they can get some of this damage, play this control point, they should be pretty good. But Box Tech goes down. The counter frags are in, though. It's so scrappy towards point. Eames getting cleaned up. It's going to go super down to the wire here. We do see Kunu charioting forward. He's got Fishkoff with him. It's only this one soldier. They're going to cap it, and that actually should be first round going to War and Sons. Double OT, though.
Yeah, but they knew the win condition at the end. They knew they had just that bit more time. They can take their time and play heals and get the medic kill early. Martin going down, and eventually the heals were just too much for Aura, too powerful. They did a decent job coordinating damage there, but everybody was just falling back, staying alive with Kelvin still being with them. So smart play there at the end by War and Sons, getting them in the first round.
It's a crucial first round, but it wasn't pretty. This mid, early aggression from Azunas. He's jumping in deep, and combined with Poison, they're going to be picking up Fitchcopper there. So 1 frag already, and you see War and Sons, they're getting pretty scared right now. They're backing up super deep. They're letting their soldier jump in. All Pie is lonesome, doesn't get anything at all, and they just have to go all the way. Even War surviving here, not a sure thing by any means. Does look like he will just about get cleaned up here. Yep, E-Horse securing that frag. Kelvin does manage to live though, so it's going to be about equal, but definitely a bit of a weird little mid there. Didn't seem like War and Sons kind of went anywhere. It's, you know, kind of like first mid where they just stood still and got the frags, but from this mid, no one jumped to them.
Yeah, but now Aura starts off with the better end here, and they look fairly strong on the defense. Minor clicks on Martin the side maybe, but for the most part it worked pretty alright, so it's going to be interesting to see how it looks with them starting off a lot stronger here, and it starts immediately off with Kelvin having to use so much earlier than Martin in this exchange.
Yeah, it is much worse Uber, but it's going to be difficult to chase it. A soldier, Everett's trying to dance now, he's getting cleaned up though, so there's no soldier to take that height. War could still try and move forward with his scouts, but really taking that position, it's so difficult without that initiation, or even just a deep bomb from a soldier. But oh my, Aura Electra just aren't giving them any space at all. Even Fitchkop and Voltec, they're going super weak on the flank, absolutely picking them apart. War as well dying on the flank. This is... I mean, or Electro, like, we talk about War's team and their aggression, you know, in terms of how they're playing the map, but right now, Aura just seems to be taking control of every single aspect of the map. They're already ticking down to nearly half-time on the clock, and this is a really hard round for War's team to get back into.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really close. The Ebos, speaking of which, are also really close, so it's not like anyone really has a huge advantage here. Warnsons can just take a fairly even fight here. They just need a better Uber than last time. Last time fell apart by Kelvin having to use so much earlier than Martin in comparison, and they just didn't get anything. Couldn't even get the soldier behind, and at that point it was pretty much done with, so they try again. Trade this over the point, but Martin just falls back so early.
Worse. He just only used now, that's about a 70% advantage. They do lose Azunas there. You do see Yeehor trying to go pretty deep, but there's no one else really to get any splash damage. No one to focus targets for him. So this repush for Warren Sons looking pretty good. That all-important pick on the soldier. Yeah, it's going to allow Fitchcock to jump in super deep. Picking up means the rest of this entire Aura Electro team are moving so far back again towards Cliff. So finally, Warren Sons, they take control of the point. They have at least equal Ubers here. It's actually a tiny little advantage, but it's going to be difficult to do anything much there. This is going to be where their hold once again gets tested.
Yeah, but the silver lining here is for Warnsons that as strong as this defense was, 2 minutes is a lot of time, Aura looked a lot weaker on offense here, when they had to approach the point, when they weren't the ones with the cap time. So this could be where they can just bring this close fairly quickly if Aura just struggles again like last time. They sent Poison behind early, Zunis gets intercepted early as well, so only a single soldier to make plays. Nevo still wants to get damage, and Kelvin being weak allows them to take up a lot more space, a lot more freely, if Poison get even a pick in the backlines.
It does look like Poison is going to get cleaned up. We have aggression from Yeehor and Martin. They're running all the way forward. Yeehor's going down though. We do see a much earlier use by Kelvin, and it doesn't look like Martin's really going to have to use here at all. He could even potentially, sacrifice Eden there, but he doesn't have to do anything of the sort at all. Keeping control of the Uber, getting control of point, and I mean, you know, the second it starts looking good for Warren Sons or Electro get right back into it, just purely off a much better Uber. Deep bombs from soldiers, at least going to force Martin here. The rest of Warren Sons, they've just got to scatter here. As long as they can keep themselves alive, their Reaper should be okay.
They still have a player behind as well. Good Pincer could do a lot of work at poison spots at early. Fish going in nowhere. With that one pick, there's a lot of damage lacking, especially with a single soldier still being on the wave back from the respawn. So they're just taking this forward, not respecting them at all on Warren Sons, approaching Cliff really aggressively and not wanting anyone to take space. And the deep off by Poison with Yeehor and backup just picks up everything that's not in spawn yet.
So good for them now, and it's going to be 19 seconds on the clock. Kelvin's not even up for another couple seconds. It's going to be really difficult, but as always, these slower spawns on the defending team side, it is going to come into play. They're just about going to have about 5 or 6 players to Aura Electro's 4 right now, but as always, it has to be absolutely immediate. 2 seconds left on the cap time. It does look like Aura Electro is going to just back up a little bit. They've got to wait for their spawns just a second. If they can get one singular frag here, it will be okay. Let's get traded though, so it's not looking too fantastic. We see all kinds of players on the back lines. They've got to fight it. They're just waiting for the soldiers to jump in. Both soldiers jumping in. Rex gets cleaned up. Uber does get used by Martin, and it's going to be so hard for them to walk the point. It's going to come so close.
Yeah, they really need something sizable, and for now, it's just not happening. So, a strong response round by Aura Electro here after a really close call that they just barely lost. This looked a lot stronger, and I want to say it's hugely in part to the defense here. They didn't have to spend a lot of time off the point. They could just defend this for the majority of the time. And Warnsons didn't find great answers. The flank especially, I think, did a really great job there, not allowing anything to have fun and freedom on the flank.
Well, going into this third mid of the game, once again we see Deep Soldier on the side of Azunis. He goes in deep, and the follow-up from Poison, so nice. They're hitting that all-important rocket towards Kelvin now. And it's going to be Martin playing with both of his scouts and Demo towards point. All that matters is Martin staying alive here. Every frag, so crucial. Oh, War goes deep. Doesn't quite hit that second pipe though. Voxtec full commits, but no frag does he get on Martin, so really good mid here for Aura Electro. They're going to get control of point and the Uber advantage, and we're going to see once again Aura Electro in the driving seat this round.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes this time. They need some better answers this time. For what it's worth, this doesn't look like the Warnsons team that I've seen on product before, so something is clearly going wrong, and maybe it's just Shockey's calls missing. Maybe they just need that little bit of a different input on the game, but whatever it is that's missing, it's clearly noticeable. They just can't track this defense all too well. And with this big set right now, they have options for the moment. It looks like just straight up sacks going in deep. War taken down early, and second, the soldiers coming in as well, not even getting close to Martin. But it's still just about enough damage, unfortunately for them. So it will just about be a force, even if they couldn't quite get into house where he was hiding. The rocket still reached him, and that's what matters. Now Kelvin has an advantage, so force play works out. Just a bit of time wasted here before we'll see them push, and Eames get early pick with that, will just further slow them down. And this will waste so
crucial. Yeah, he's so crucial here. He gets those 2 frags, which means Warren Suns, they now have to be delayed in their push out with 50% on the side of Aura Electro. You see them now. They're not committing to this forward hold quite in the same way. Slightly further back just as they wait a second. We're getting these 4 traps up from Eames, but you can see the combo. They're just kind of backing towards point. They're thinking, if we can stay alive for about 5 seconds longer, we'll actually get the Uber by the time Warren Suns get to point. So, all the way back they go. 80% on Martin. If they can turn this into a trade, it's going to be more and more time ticking off that clock. It has to be aggression from Warren Suns, but 96% on Martin. Yeah, they did absolutely everything they needed there. Uber does get used by Kelvin now. Martin immediately with his use as well. So, no player's going to get traded at all. It does look like Rex is going to just a little bit overextend there. He's going to get cleaned up. And the rest of Aura Electro should just be able to chill towards point. They know that Warren Suns have to keep contesting. Even getting Fitchcock now as well. There's just no initiation from Warren Suns right now. There's nothing they can really do to get back in this fight.
Yeah, and the flank keeps getting better answers to fight, and now it's just they know where everybody is. They have no concern for human life right now. They just keep jumping in. And Cliff is just becoming the death corner of the map right now for Warren Suns, where nothing is staying alive. The moment the flank's down, everybody is just feeling super safe, jumping the last few players remaining on Cliff. And they are rightfully doing so. Nothing stopped them, and everything that was still in the side. 2 minutes already off the clock. Oh, Electro looking slightly unstoppable right now.
Yeah, I mean, turns out my predictions are wrong. As per usual, I apparently don't know anything, because Aura Electro looking so dominating in this third round. Should be getting themselves a bit of advantage here. We do actually see Kulu sniping now, so this Uber advantage for Martin. He's got to watch his head a little bit. Flanks once again going deep inside of Aura Electro. They're going to be trying to wrap a little bit behind, but the fight's all the way towards point. Yeehaw gets that Uber, gets that frag onto Kelvin. So important there, and it doesn't really matter at this point as long as they can keep themselves alive. It's 24 seconds on the clock. Sniping did absolutely nothing on the side of Kunu, and as long as they can just keep control, get some stickies up as soon as Eames is alive, this should be basically just securing this round with, as of right now, 0 seconds on the cap for Warren Suns.
Yeah, it's looking really bad for them, and I don't know if it's fear or tilt, or maybe a little bit of both, but switching off their main spread, the double scout to the sniper, surely is showing that all Electro is doing something right here on the defense right now. They're making it really hard for the Germans to approach. They eventually get the point here due to better cap time, but with Poison still behind, they need to be careful about just staying there and waiting for nothing. Because if Poison comes in at the same time as the rest of them push, this could be looking bad. But Kunu seems to have spotted it, so at least the surprise factor has gone. But Aura's certainly not going to stop here.
Poison's just dancing around. He's distracting players. He knows he can jump in whenever. These stickies from Eames. Oh my god, looking really good. Nearly taking down Kelvin there. Poison does lose his life, but just the charge forward of Eames. They're absolutely nuking the point. There's nothing Warren Suns can do. They're going to be losing control of point and losing this round 2-1 for Aura Electro.
They definitely switch something up. Something is majorly going wrong. Maybe the sniper at this point is the right answer. Aura has a stronghold, so they make them feel less comfortable doing that, but we'll see what the answer is for the moment. It looks like it's the Kunu sniper. Yeehaw might have spotted it. He was on spy, might have checked it too late. You never know. Either way, the sniper is for now. Maybe that's just what we need, but we'll see.
No, man, Kunu's on that 4D chest. He went sniper, then immediately back to scout. They're still sticking with their cookie cutter. It's only just to mess with those spies. And they're walking in, and unfortunately, he's the first frag as well. It's just complete collapse, this flank. Oh my god, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. At least both medics are dying here. Control of point is slightly more towards the side of Aura Electro, just Voxtec staying alive there. I mean, I feel like in a second we're going to have to see something like crit, something completely different. Like you said, we might see the sniper, but I feel like the scouts from Warren Suns, they're getting some decent frags, they're getting some decent damage, but it feels like maybe some of these initiations aren't quite working. Maybe they need to, I don't know, bury something up in their bombs. It's so hard to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, we'll see. For what it's worth, the mid was fairly aggressive, so maybe they're slightly getting into it slowly but surely, but we'll see. As for the moment, it's just Aura playing aggressive. Everybody deep in on the medic. 2 soldiers, 1 scout deep into them, and sure, most of them lose their lives, but they got Kevin and Martin is safely out of there, so for what it's worth, they basically just got Uber out of that one. Even if it did cost them the point temporarily, it is maybe what is needed here.
War just jumped in, straight in, he gets 1 sticky, but oh my god, Martin, Jesus dude! He walked straight into the rockets, complete lack of communication there. I don't know what was going on. War does at least trade for it, but I mean, once you lose your medic on Viaduct, Kelvin going to be playing towards point. He needs both of his scouts with him at all times here. Just a little bit passive. They have control of point. It's only soldiers they really need to worry about coming deep, and then they can start dealing with the point. Then they can start focusing things, and it looks like they're playing this pretty much perfectly. No idea how they turned that into an advantageous position there.
Yeah, War just the insane play took a while, but he got shots eventually. And for what it's worth, no one died trying with the sack there. No one went in deep. So they're all still alive here to just immediately keep playing with better heals now. And Poison just on the first try.
They just jumped
between
in.
both scouts. Kuno and Voxy just completely let him get away with it.
They just jump in like he's threading the needle at this point. Eames still hitting them nutty bumps, but then we see again Martin soft going to the skybox. He's living somehow. Kuno getting so much damage. My god, they're just sacking absolutely everyone. Martin does live 75% on Zuba, and it looks like they're getting the cap. Kelvin is up all by his lonesome, only getting his body war now. Okay, so War and Sons, slightly better time on the clock, but we have this 70% Uber advantage for Martin and his boys on Aura Electro. So once again, keeping control of point is going to be the aim of the game. I think we're going to see aggression again. Martin's got to have his right finger ready to go at this point. People just going to be jumping.
Yeah, I think so too, because at this point it's looking dire with how little things have been working out. So they just decide to go straight in with this. But Kelvin saw it coming. Really smart there, and they try to even get people behind them on Cliff. Not quite working. Fishkopf still there. Once the Uber is still up and going, Voxy not even close to that anymore, doesn't try too hard with catching Martin by surprise. So smart play by the Germans to get out of there early, expecting the Uber to come in, but they didn't get the surprise factor onto the flank play. So it is an even situation now. Kelvin will get any moment though, but with Scout down already, could see stuff going bad quickly, and Azunas just going high, wants to see that happen. Ehawk heats up for him. 2k between the two. Kelvin all alone needs to fall back on Cliff, and Fish not even getting through Connector alive.
It's absolutely brutal. You saw how close Kelvin was to his Uber, but I mean, you know, the players in front of him get absolutely nuked. He has to back up. He's not quite sure where he's going. He spent a decent amount of time not healing there, and now it's going to be really hard for them to use this advantage. It's 20%, but it is dwindling with every single second on the clock. If they go, they need to go right now. And losing Fishkopf is going to be made even harder now. War's going to be walking up towards point. Looks like they want to try and maybe do something. Not that they have much of a choice. Yeah, they're going to be using straight across. Martin's got his Uber though. We didn't even get a jump from War at this point. He's just going to try and back up a little bit, go for this repush. Now that Fishkopf is alive, but it's going to be so hard. We see Everex deep behind. He's going to try and make some kind of reinitiation play, but he did get picked apart by Nevo. He looks like he is, along with Poison now. This repush towards point is going to be so difficult. They're taking so much damage. Even if they get control of point this time, they need 2 players down. Their spawns are going to be super slow, and Aura Electro can just play as slow as they want here. Pick them absolutely apart. Gain control of point, and then, I mean, it's 40 seconds on the clock. Equal Ubers. It has to go so well for War and Sons here. Otherwise, they're going to be they'll be out of this game.
Yeah, it's do or die at this point. They don't have much of a choice besides pushing forward, and with people down like they are right now, this is looking really bad. Or just has so much control of Cliff and China, and nothing is really getting forward out of this little corner there on Cliff. War down, Foxy down, FX down. So little can be done right now. It takes time away so much, and they were already like hard pressed to reach point here and play that, but at this point they really don't have a choice anymore.
No, they don't at all. It's 10 seconds on the clock. We gotta go, boys. Cooney going down as well. They've just got to walk forward, try and get some cap time as well. They can't even just trade it. They need that little bit of cap time, and they need to just absolutely own in this re-engage. But War's going to be going down. Cap time's going to be disappearing, and that's going to be Aura Electro dominating that 3-1 after that first round. That was brutal.
And that was by all means not War and Sons on the A game, and Aura Electro just abused that perfectly. They didn't let anything happen to them, really. There were a few messy deaths by Martin at the beginning, but later on in the game, just nothing really reached them anymore. The defense was really good. Every time something happened towards point, they had full control of the situation, and War and Sons aggression looked really sketchy compared to what I've seen them be able to perform, let alone their defense being much worse on top of that. So Kelvin just had a lot of deaths that should by no means happen in the first place.
Yeah, I think it was crazy. They really just got their head in the game. I mean, having a look at the logs, I mean, but what 2 things are going to point out? I think maybe the Eames 455 DPM and Yeehawk getting 40 goddamn frags. That's Dugo's 40 for 10, right? I think I can understand why they won. That was like, I thought he was doing well, right? He seemed to be getting like those all-important cleanup frags, and more importantly, those fat Ubers, right? Those fat Ubers where they walk forward and take down Kelvin. It seemed like it was looking good, but I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. No one could even really contest that on the side of War and Sons. No one was anywhere near.
What I also want to say is that Aura's flank did a great job here. Obviously, the first ones you would look at are Azunis and Level, and they did a great job for sure, controlling the flank in the first place. But also, the combo players, obviously specifically Yeehaw and Poison, had a really good time like coordinating to know when they had to leave the combo to help out in the flank on top of that. So their flank doesn't get 1v1, but they take the favorable 2v1s, and they kept getting so many kills out of just that little bit of communication that just kept keeping Warren Suns at a the player deficit and made it so much harder to keep fighting in these massive fights.
Yeah, and like it isn't even getting those frags. It's just that ability to like get that pressure. The fact that, like I said, the flank of Warren Suns, it was always being pressured, and then they'd hear calls from their flank. Okay, flank's being pressured, and then the combo's being pressured. But it's the soldiers like they'd go behind, they'd kind of not quite commit. Sometimes we saw Azunas just kind of jump in all or nothing, try and make things happen. But most of the time, it seemed like it was really well coordinated with that push up, and it just gave Eames so much space to just rain death and destruction as a demo does best on this map. That's it. Like, any of these demos, you can get them space on Viaduct, they'll absolutely annihilate. And it just seemed like, the team was playing so well around Eames. And I mean, yeah, that wasn't what either of us predicted, I'll be honest, going into Viaduct. Like you said, that didn't seem like Warren Suns on their A game. And that's gotta hurt. That's gotta really hurt considering what some of their scrim results has been, but they kind of gotta not let that affect them because they still got Sunshine to play through.
Yeah, but like I said, Sunshine is typically looking like a really good map for Aura. So if finally things go the way as expected, then that's not much of any good thing in their favor now, is it now? So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. For what it's worth, Martin has been a really solid mark. You never want to be in a situation where it's fairly clearly the mark that's dragging you down, be it even just team communication wise, let alone just performance wise. But Martin did really good. Didn't stick out at all negatively, which is the least you want really out of a Merc. So he did a really good job surviving a lot of things and made it really hard for them to get any med kills. So value Merc right there, paying off well.
Yeah, but honestly, when it comes to medic mercs, especially at this kind of top level, it's like if you can't notice anything bad about a medic merc, that means he's playing he's fantastically well slotted into the team. Because getting that medic merc, they'll not quite be used to how you do things, how you call, this, that, whatever. And it usually the things you notice will usually be the bad things. And yeah, there was a couple moments where things weren't quite right. Like you said, that first round seemed a little bit, dodgy for Martin just kind of getting in that groove with the rest of the team. But once they were in their groove, it was just you basically couldn't tell he wasn't their main medic. It was absolutely crazy. But yeah, let's go on a second onto Sunshine, because obviously, according to Eames at least, he reckons or Electra, they are the business on Sunshine. But I feel like whenever you have these situations where one team dominates on the Koth map, there's always that opportunity for the losing team to just come back completely, just have a much better understanding of 5CP in general, because obviously Koth and 5CP, it's they're such different formats, and I feel like you always get these situations where the team just comes back and just, I don't know, shows off some crazy masterful display. Have you got any of your secret insider info, Dom?
From what I've seen, I really liked Aura's just play in stalemates. They have a lot of interesting things surrounding sacks and stuff like that, how they play these out. And again, the thing I mentioned with bait plays as well on the flank, where they just have somebody try to commit, and then somebody wants to just get the easy pick onto Azunas, and then suddenly there's just poison landing on them suddenly. Stuff like that is something that I've seen a lot and really like them doing. So the stalemate play, I think, should be fairly interesting for Aura, and I'm interested to see if the Germans won't let it come to that, because, like I said, they want to play this aggressive style. They just really struggle to do that on product. Maybe 5CP favors them more in that regard. If they can prevent that from happening, Aura will have a much tougher time from what I've seen. Because from what I've seen as well is that Aura struggled quite a bit more with aggressive teams being Ascent specifically from my research. So if Warren Suns actually can get into their own game style the way they want to and play their playstyle the way they want to, this should be, theoretically speaking, a lot harder for them, but that just hasn't been the case so far, or hasn't really let them do that. They just need to find themselves is probably the most important thing here.
I think, obviously with Koth, the way things work is you're always against the clock, so you don't really have any of those times for reset. You can't just kind of sit there, chill out, play a bit of a stalemate and reset, because every second that's going is taken off the clock. You don't really get any time in between the rounds. And I would hope that at least, on this map, because you can just stalemate for a bit, you can play these slightly slower situations and go for, a bit of a kind of discussion of what you want to do, a bit of a kind of, mental reset if things are getting away from you. I'd like to feel like we'd get less of these situations where it feels like Warren Suns are just kind of, a little bit crumbling, not able to play their game. I'd like to hope so, but honestly, yeah, if you feel like going into Viaduct that's kind of your map, which I feel like Warren Suns may have been, losing it like that it's going to play on your mind a little bit. But I mean, we're going to find out pretty soon, you know? I think game's going to be going live in about 30 seconds or so. So, I mean, we're both currently 0 for 1 in terms of predictions. Let's take another complete guess. DuMmTm, what are you thinking? Is this going to be Aura Electro just steamrolling 6-0?
I'm going to say, I still want somewhat of a close game, so I'm going to say 4 to Aura Electro here.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. I don't want to agree with you, right? Because you've steered me down bad alleyways so far. So I'm going to say Warren Sons. I'm going to say they're going to bring the comeback. They're going to have their own aggression. They're going to make Aura Electro feel uncomfortable. Because the second I think they can get in the driving seat, Warren Sons should be looking good. And we did see that in the first round of Viaduct. They got that first cap. They played in that driving seat and they managed to kind of, you know, dictate things at their own pace. So I believe in the boys. I feel like we might end up as a 3-3 here. And I have no idea what that means for playoffs. It's going to just be like, then every game from then on is even more clutch. So
yeah, like playoff points wise, this is already like huge for right now. Dropping points early to good squad. They just now made up for it at the very least. They can just shoot ahead right now even more if they take this for Warren Sons. They don't want to lose points here. They were fairly confident from what I've seen going into this map. So they're going to be kicking themselves if they don't take anything out of this.
Well, we're going to be going in now to our first mid of Sunshine. This is ETF2L Season 33, Week 3, Aura Electro versus War and his sons. He was in War at around to mid, but at the same time, a little bit of an early attack towards Eames, getting him nice and weak, softening him up just a little bit. Both teams, oh, this double aggression from War and Sons, both the soldiers jumping nice and high, getting some really good damage. These stickies from War, picking up Yeehaw as well, these pipes on Nevo. We do see the soldiers jumping deep to try and get onto Kelvin, but dodging like the mastermind that he is, he's going to be surviving nice and easy, barely even taking any damage at all. That's a strong mid, strong Uber advantage, and maybe able just to convert around here.
Yeah, it's looking a lot more like what they want to do here. They didn't let anyone set up on Aura in the first place. They were playing fairly reserved at the beginning, and they just invited themselves into their choke, basically, and just picked them apart really, really quickly. Got all the kills they needed, including Martin. People died fairly late as well, so time for the gun is limited. It's still level 1, level 2 by this point, so no full level 3, but they have the sniper on the field. Never finding some quick shots. Will probably waste just enough time here to not have this push come out any moment.
It's going to be difficult. They still want to use this Uber, flashing so many players, actually trying to get both soldiers and a scout in there. 0 frags so far. Unu's going to get picked up as well. They're playing towards this point, but VoxX sent into the skybox, gets obliterated. They're just getting annihilated. Yeah, absolutely no chance at all. Kelvin at least does manage to scarf her, but wasted their opportunity there. Didn't quite prepare for that sniper. And it is going to be Aura Electro pushing out here. A little bit of spam towards point. Shouldn't really catch anyone on the side of Aura Electro. And they're 85% now. They can look to just keep on moving.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is the config right? Because I don't think it is. So
I don't think it is. Yep, you're right. Unlucky boys.
Let me hope Eames doesn't have Steam notifications off.
I'm sure they're going to fix that at some point. Fitchkopf going down. He's the first player to lose his life, and so far, no Uber getting anywhere near to being used by Martin. Looks like they want to try and free take mid completely, which seems like Warren Sons are happy to let them do. They're going to be building up their own Uber here towards second, so doesn't look like Aura Electro is going to be able to move any further, and we do have our first little moment of a stalemate.
So that would be the perfect moment to switch config.
It would.
Probably.
I think they should do that.
Doesn't want to stalemate, or he's just in, throwing himself at the medic, gets some damage, but not enough to really need to use here from Kelvin, so he's staying safe for the moment. And it's not too unheard of for Demos to sack. He's hit quite a bit. Last season there was a particularly impressive play by Cadis that comes to mind, but Eames as well is the one to sack if you choke as the demo, because it's just weird for demos to spam through, but that doesn't mean the Germans are not going to abuse the opportunity. But
Kelvin!
Now everybody's just doomed to die here.
That's absolutely disastrous. They went for like the full commit. Yeah, we'll force them and then somehow get a better trade, whatever. Kelvin just runs in, just gets like 150 to 0, just instantly, bam, loses his life. And now they're in this situation. Everyone knows there's one thing you know about Sunshine. You cannot lose your life on second, otherwise you will lose last. So the rest of Warren Sons got to be moving back here. We are even seeing a little pause now, so not quite sure what's going to be going on here, but going to desperately hope we haven't had any lost players or anything too crazy.
I'm going to stick by what I said before and hope this is the pause for the config.
You would hope
they realize and how they figure out what they actually need to do here to fix that.
They're all sitting there desperately trying to remember what the Archon password is, you know? There's like, oh, what's the command? How do you do it, you know?
That is not entirely impossible.
Players.
Either way, I don't remember what the spawn times were here, so I don't know how good this is into last. Let alone Martin not having here doesn't help much either. So I'd be surprised if anything beyond second happens, maybe on early sack, but I'd be surprised if this transitions into last quickly. Everybody's playing this fairly slow, as you can see, super far back, only never zoom this forward, just taking presence, making sure everything's safe, even stick it all of choke, just to not be surprise jumped. So yeah, Aura's taking this nice and slow, as much as they need to for the situation being anyway, and just make sure nothing bad happens to Martin, which won't be the case. Most of Warren Suns, like you said, playing safe, don't want to die here on last. So just a nice little stroll from mid to second into lobby of this ad they have, and just carry this forward safely, because they want this, what is 30% ad, to have some value into last year.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty keen with this Uber, except this 30%. I mean, they're picking up War absolutely for free. I mean, okay, so for free. They trade Yeehor, right? But losing a demo on last, that's pretty crucial, right? Kuno is actually getting the sniper towards Eames as well, so apparently Demoman cannot get through this doorway. There's always sniper there, nothing they can do. Uber's really achieved nothing, and Martin's just got to run away along with Poison and Nevo. So, we're currently 0 for 2 in terms of last pushes. Neither team is really able to get through the doorway, and now Kelvin's the boy with his Uber. He wants to start walking forward. He wants to push forward with his team, and honestly, they could look to maybe just go aggressive towards lower. Evrex does look like he's going to be taking this peeky, walking through, taking a lot of spam towards this doorway. Poison's his closest player, but the back half is on from Azunis. Does look like he is seen, though. Does look like he will just about get cleaned up. The Uber gets using Kelvin throughout all of this. Kelvin jumping. Sorry, not Kelvin. Evrex jumps deep. It's absolutely nothing at all, but there's
Never
more
got
back
back as well.
How does he even get through there?
Yeah, first time it was Azunis, it wasn't even him, so Azunis just dragged back like 3 people for this fourth attempt to just not... There was so little with the combo because of Azunis' backhand, and I think once that happened, they were just feeling confident, oh no, now we can go forward, now we are safe from the backhand, and they still forgot to check wherever Nova was hiding, and he got something out of that that is at this point a full scoreline.
It's like the Giga Brain play, you know? Oh yeah, we back up, and then we double back up. 1 by 1, boys, that's all we need. Right, going into this mid. We do see again aggression from Warren Sun, so deep. Martin's going to be the first casualty of this mid as well. And they're looking pretty good once again. Kelvin, he's pretty weak himself, but he's got his players around him. The rest of Aura Electro, they're just so far away. It doesn't look like they're going to get absolutely anywhere near him at all. Nevo and Yeehor, the only boys alive. Yeehor does pick up War, which is, it's always nice, but he's so far away, there's no real chance of him affecting the Ubers at this point. So War's going to have this time to spawn. He could even look to, I don't know, maybe there's some weird strats of like quickie bombs, or even, you know, holding a door and having someone go like a heavy or something. You would imagine they would just maybe go for a bit of this more standard of a push, as long as they can get through the doorway, not lose anyone, and just try and take some position with this Uber.
Yeah, we'll see what the options they take here for the moment. They will have to contest with a sniper and a gun. Obviously, we saw just now what a sniper can do if uncontested, so they need to play careful around this the moment they spot it, and this Uber probably will have to be used early. War being weak on the rollout here just now will take some time to get healed up as well, but they can afford just a little bit of that, but with Martin being on 70 now, this has to be a quick one.
Yeah, War's going to be jumping in, gets pretty denied by this gun, but they do manage to take it down. We do see 85% on the side of Martin, so that's be point time for the Germans. Going to be getting some decent damage towards point. So much cap on. This damage is absolutely brutal, but the pipes from War. Oh my god, this is going to be so clutch, and Martin is just about getting his Uber. So, using that, picking up Kunu and Big Daddy War here. Yeah, only Fitchkop alive, and he's just going to be escaping towards lower. I mean, I agree with the respect right now that Aura's giving for Fitchkop, you know? They had that backup threat before, so they're at least going to take that time to find out exactly where he's playing before anything happens here. But actually, Warren Suns, they have every right to contest here. There's still one player down on the side of Aura Electro all the way towards last, so Azunis is going to be a free frag, and they could even off Uber try and push on to last. There's going to be no off classes up for Aura Electro. Warren Suns, they're going to be going top right, walking straight on through, taking this position. No gun at all. They're getting some decent damage towards point. Once again, Capron's being played. So many pipes just raining out War. Standing on point and capping it, equalizing for his team.
Yeah, going on off Uber here was the right call whatsoever. I think Never was the engineer here. Not right idea in this moment. You need to be afraid of just a sudden push, and they didn't respect it nearly enough. So all of Warren Suns was just in suddenly off the one pick they had, and acknowledged that there won't be too much resistance on us just yet. Played off it quickly, hit some really nice shots ability as well, which does make everything a lot easier. And suddenly it's a tight scoreline again, and these mids have been hugely in the Germans' favor.
Really have the aggression, just Aura doesn't seem to have much of an answer for it. This mid though, slightly more passive. Fitchkop doesn't really able to get to jump anywhere, but Everett's bomb does enough all by itself. They walk so far forward. Martin is going to die. Poison tries to get something towards Kelvin, but there's nothing really he can do. He's sent into the skybox, gets taken down. Another dominating mid from the Germans. And I mean, again, it's Uber advantage. Oh, they only even lost Fitchkop. This is like They could even start trying to walk in before any of these spawners are up. 3 seconds still on most of the Aura team.
Yeah, these mids have been really, really strong for them, and it's just whichever side they pick to push forward on. It's like there's no resistance whatsoever. They just get in, get the kills, and are done with it. And suddenly it's just 2 points already gone in the Germans' favor. Let alone a good situation into last. They've struggled with these like straight ad positions quite a bit, though, admittedly. So I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't work quite yet. But Martin won't get in time this time at least, so they can just play this a little bit slower.
Yeah, it does look like War's going for these deep bombs. Once again, he's just jumping all the way in, not really hitting that all-important damage though, and not taking that all-important space. You see, Kelvin nearly dies there. I mean, it does look like these refrags are somehow looking just about better for the side of War and Sons, but they're kind of getting picked apart at this tail end of the fight. War's going so weak, but he's just versus one heavy Nevo, the one-man army. Can he do anything? He's going to sandwich onto point. They're hitting him with the sign. Doesn't matter at all. War and Sons picking up that second round. The refight, it looked like it was just going to kind of go nowhere. They didn't really take the position, but somehow just the damage went their way. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the late jump onto the medic, onto Martin there, saved them so much. Otherwise, Martin could have tanked this heavy for ages and it wouldn't have gone anywhere for War and Sons. So ignoring the heavy for the longest time, not always the right choice, and it was a close call this time, but it just about worked out for them.
Well, we're only 10 minutes into this game, already 3 rounds on the clock. 2-1 to War and Sons. This time we see Aura Electro playing pretty passive. They want to try and deny these soldiers early. Evrex takes a lot of damage, but even still he picks up Eames. The deep run from Fitchkov gets so much damage. They're picking up Martin. Yet again, it's only Yeehaw and Nevo. They've got to charge forward, try and get onto Kelvin, and both scouts being beamed. Yeehaw is so weak at the point. He's surely just going to get picked apart. Yep, Voxtech, another frag onto his little scoreboard there. It was like the War and Sons scouts, they're so good with this follow-up and this cleanup. It's just like, I don't know, the mids are like, Aura needs to do something different, surely.
Yeah, passive isn't working. They're trying to play this lone on their half at the beginning, but they're just getting bombed, and there's just not the denial necessary, or the denial that they need here to shut down the soldiers to get this initial damage for everybody to just follow up on. So they're just getting picked apart every time they try to play slow, and they're just not able to take any space against it whatsoever. And like you said, they need to change things up. At this point, just switching up to something more aggressive needs to be the answer, right? But what else is really your option here? You can't keep playing slow and just get bombed every time and die. This is the 4th mid right now that's going bad for them.
Yeah, once again we see War jumping in, picking out this gun. Easy peasy, not worrying at all. This time not jumping too far, and he's actually going to walk forward a little bit by himself, but he's still getting his all-important frag towards the heavy, but no heals on the side of War and Sons, so they can't really play this long fight. If they want to fight, it has to be right now. Getting some decent damage towards Azunis. The bomb from both soldiers, they can absolutely decimate Eames, but looks like the rest of Aura is going to be cleaning up. Just Evrex alive. Can he do it? The one-man army. He's going to be getting 0 frags there. So does look like we do finally see a successful last hold here from Aura Electro after War jumps in through top right. So it looks like that last push, it isn't a 100% success rate anymore. But the recontest from War and Sons, as always, seems like it is very possible. Martin's still not alive yet, and looks like War's calling for his team. Azunis playing this court again. One rocket towards Kelvin, get the second one. Kelvin somehow living here, so weak towards choke, and as a result, there's absolutely nothing that Aura can do on second now.
Yeah, and they're just getting forced back early by the soldier as well, so they weren't comfortable taking space in the first place to spam for the follow-up. And Azunis unluckily not quite getting damage by himself means everybody has to fall back. At least this time they're transitioning faster to a
1
hold.
HP!
Gun up, sniper up, and they're just having to hope that War and Sons mess up, you know.
This isn't the same situation that we saw before. We do have Martin in this position where if he can get about a 30% Uber kind of built up before he can, you know, get taken down, or before the War and Sons can get on the point, he might be able to reuse here. This denial to War is pretty good this time, but my god, War's in every lock and load right now. It's pretty crazy. 80% on Martin. Point time once again has to be the way they're winning this now. Walking so many towards him. Yeah, they're getting every single frag. Martin dies now, and they can just play super slow. Sticky's cleaning up the last couple frags. 3-1 for War and Sons. And I think, yeah, on this mid, we're going to have to see something either more aggressive, or honestly, if you're going to stand and choke, why not just get a sniper? Like, if you're going to get bombed, at least try and hit something long range. It's, I don't know. I feel like on these last pushes as well, there could be maybe more deny of, like, I don't know, some loose cannons or some pyros or something to try and just kind of try and stop War from just jumping in so easily.
Yeah, they need a stronger answer here, both mid and last. Because once they got out of the cycle of just set plays for War and Sons, they were looking good on the first round, but they're just not getting there anymore.
Do you see right side positioning from the side of Aura Electro this time? They're going to try and keep things a little bit cleaner. Does look like they do get these first couple frags. Viaduct and Everett, so that's the initiation from the side of Warnsons completely gone. You see Warnsons, they're completely aware of it. They're like, alright boys, our soldiers got taken down, no way we can really reinitiate. So we're going to back up all the way to second. And with these spawners, and just with how scary second is, they can't really contest the second point at all. So Electro should be able to get control of the second point, get this equilibrium situation, and it does look like they'll be playing a bit of a second to last stalemate.
Yeah, and it looks like the answer to our passive mid not working for was to just play even more passive, just hide in cafe, and the soldiers just land in front of them instead of on them. Suddenly it's looking a lot brighter. Maybe that's the answer, but Warnsons surely are good enough to adapt, so for the moment we'll just have to see how this last push goes.
Yeah, it's really, really bad there. War lost his life. Yeehor just kind of ran forward aggressive, took this positioning. They're even getting so much cap time here. They even take down Everett and they force off the Uber, and Martin's just only using his now. Does look like, oh, that flash from Martin. That's so good. They keep Eames alive. They take some of this position. The refight from Viaduct. Oh, I think they are just not going to be able to hold this, focusing these remaining frags. I thought just for a second there, Eames was going to be able to repush with his team, but credit where it's due, Warnsons coming in super clutch, holding this last.
It was just slightly mistimed. I don't know exactly what caused Martin to use it. If it was just his counter Uber coming out when he felt comfortable to use it, or if he actually got forced by damage. Either way, the moment he used was not well timed with the rest of his team. The soldiers were just leaving, trying to heal up, and so everybody was weak, and now it's just Warnsons. So the aggression ever lands on Martin, picks him up incredibly early, and everybody is just falling back. They know they have 70. Let's just play around that instead.
I really like that kind of aggressive positioning, Warnsons. They take it kind of all the way towards the flank. They jump that soldier deep, but you see how far through flank War goes to spam with his soldier. It's so good killing that frag, and they're even picking up 2 of these flank players as they walk through cafe. There's basically no real chance of getting a force here. They lose Everett as he tries to get some positioning towards point, but really, they're going to get control. They still have this big Uber advantage. There was a sniper just for a moment on the side of Nevo, but he will be back on the scout now. Here's actually the opportunity. If Warnsons want to try and go aggressive, maybe jump deep and try and sticky Martin away from this shutter. It looks like they want to try and keep walking for free. Yeah, Poison gets taken down. Azuna is still playing towards Stoke, but he has been spotted by Kunu now. Does look like Electro have no real choice but to just give up second for free. Really, really nice methodical play from Warnsons here. They're kind of picking apart some of these soldiers from Electro. Beautiful play.
It's a big step up from what we've seen on the first map here, so that is already a huge improvement, but now we're going straight into last. It needs to be a quick one here. Martin almost has. The heavy going down early helps so much.
He's looking pretty good, but a couple frags being traded apiece. Like you said, Martin does end up using his Uber, taking down War as well. I mean, with the way this is going, the refight isn't really on from Warnsons. They have like a 20% advantage if they build absolutely giga right now. I mean, it's possible at this point, but really, I mean, they're 3-1 up, so, you know, they're not really feeling like they're in that position where they have to make things happen. There's still 14 minutes on the clock. You don't want to kind of get in that position where you're so desperate to win limit that you end up throwing things.
So yeah, we'll see how they want to approach this on the German side, though. In comparison, they have a slight ad here. Their small ad pushes haven't been good. That are the ones that haven't worked. The bigger ad ones were the ones that actually got them rounds on the board. But whenever it was like 20-30% away from Martin to having the moment they popped in, it was a fail every time, the first round and this one. So I'd be surprised if they actually use this in, but the looks of it, that's not at all what the plan is either way. So they want to go for the stalemate and want to get something more substantial going into last. Which right now will be interesting because we have a spy on the field, Zunis on his main, trying to see if he can do something here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, minimum what he's going to get here, some info for his team. He's going to be letting everyone know, okay, right. You can see the boys outside, no one's really peeking and prodding. He will be able to even check the off class as well, because these Prem boys, you know, they're smart. They know what they're doing. He's going to get picked up because he gets spammed, so. Unlucky Azunis, right. Warnsons jumping a soldier nice and deep here, getting some decent rockets. A lot of damage towards Martin. I actually thought, no way we'd go that weak, but doesn't use his Uber, so ultimately all for nothing here. We do have an opportunity for Warnsons to possibly set up an off class here. We obviously know Kudu is a prolific sniper, but I mean, we've seen the Everett spy every now and then.
We'll see, we'll see. They haven't off-classed too much into last yet. They didn't seem to favor that at the moment. No sniper, no spy, nothing like that. So it's mostly just all off-classing here, and again, it's the soonest. Didn't work that first time. Let's try again. Maybe this time they won't expect it, but hey, you never know. Maybe they just keep the guard down at some point here. For the moment, Everx and co have been fairly passive on this last push, but they haven't really aggressed too much yet. Just wait to see what happens to them. And with a lead, it's understandable, but it's still a lot of time left.
Oh, Mastermind is doing this, walking directly behind. He's button knifing him. He's just whacked him. He's whacked him. He is not getting the force today. Kelvin's like, no, thank you, sir. I have a brain and I pay attention. So, I mean, you know, credit where it's due. I mean, I feel like we only need 1 or 2 more lives on Spine. We'll be getting the full sideshow. So, I think we might just about be seeing that. Bitchkoff overextending as well, losing his life. Yeah, come on. Go on, Azunis, buddy. Just do it.
Maybe, you never know, but for the moment, it's not like... That's really what they want to do. They want to just take lobby here, knowing no one's in here, knowing the Germans have been fairly passive on this last point so far, and knowing that they're outside here, they can take some space, see if there's any chance to sag. Poison slightly overextends, though, gets baited forward into like 3 people shooting him at the same time, so he gets taken down fairly quickly. At some point, they actually take Madison to downhands, though, on Warren Sons. They've not been too aggressive here, so Sniper arguably makes a lot of sense. You can do that a lot safer. Sure, they have to be in lobby, but not as aggressively as otherwise, besides Kunu.
Kunu's taking this deep old Picarino. He's walking all the way towards the left, but not rattling off any all-important shots yet. And, importantly, he's taking that shot, so Electric will be aware now. Azuna's finally didn't get the memo, though. His head's going to get taken off. Right, Kunu's chalking one up right now, and this hold towards this left-hand side is now just a little bit dodgier. They can peek a little bit more, but I feel like Bitchkoff, he's wanting to try and take some position towards Ryan's side. Bomb from Poison's at least going to try and force them back a little bit. So much damage. These stickies from Eames and a cleanup from Yeehaw. It has to be Kelvin running all the way outside. There's no way he wants to get forced in that kind of situation. 2 players down. No stickies towards the shut. It looks like Electro, they're going to be walking all the way through. Everexo, he's looking to take this trade. Much later use. Martin's not even used it. Okay. He just about does it. Everex gets shot out of the sky. Doesn't look like they will at all have a chance of getting onto Kelvin here, but second should be theirs. Short of some kind of miracle from Warden Sons.
Well, the miracle was going to be Voxy flanking behind, but they had never stay on last with the gun entirely and just have this be a 5-man push, and 5 people was apparently enough for Martin to not have to use for like 30 minutes there before he gets forced. So if it works, it works. There's a trap a bit, but no one's close to that, just trying to chase people down to choke. Not getting anyone really about the Voxy pick at all. That's good enough to just have a safe time on mid to begin with, and everybody on Warren Sons just hightailing it out of mid, playing safe. Wanting to get the Uber up, they do have an advantage due to Martin having to use so much later. It's not a huge one though, it's hardly playable. I'd be surprised if they actually did something with this and impressed even more so, I think. But for the time being, Electro just taking the space they can take safely here all the way to mid, take to the bank, and we go back to the mid-second stalemate we haven't seen too much of yet. So I'm going to be curious to see who's going to be approaching this which way specifically, because last time it was just him jumping. Not this time it is as well, but he misses the fancy slide he wanted to hit, and Kuno doesn't miss anything there.
No, that's unlucky, right? I mean, Eames went for it, but I feel like, you know, we've seen that before. It doesn't really work out. We see the same aggressive play towards the flank. Everett's jumping nice and deep. War able to support with him, gets some decent damage, a little bit towards Martin, but this time, Electro were prepared for it. They're like, nah, fool me once, you know? Twice, it ain't gonna happen, so Everett's not really getting anything for his mileage there, but it was ultimately just a single sack, so no real loss for Warren Sons. Now, the flank play from Electro, they're getting really far. This damage, the spam from Warren Sons is pretty good, but they're giving up a lot of positioning. They're allowing the entire combo of Electro to walk all the way towards grass, and even now, Kelvin's on the low ground. War's going super weak here. They're having to arrow up, and I mean, all these players towards the flank. There's such a risk of them dying here, but somehow Warren Sons are just about living here. Eames even gets just like completely left out to dry. I mean, at any point there, Electro could have just kind of walked forward and got at least 2 frags there, but somehow, some way, Warren Sons stay in it, and now they're going to try and walk forward towards mid. Going to be taking this trade here. Much earlier use from Martin's going to be about 25% kind of difference. It does look like Azunis is going to get caught here towards this flank. Yeah, he's going to get cleaned up, but not before Everex does. It's so many scrappy fights on the flank right now. Oh my, the poison damage, it's kind of filthy. Okay, all the way, running away. Somehow Warren Sons got absolutely nothing significant there, and they've just got to keep running. My god, Yeehaw just wants it. He's on it, look at these scouts!
Kelvin gets one for himself, but at this point they lost all this presence here. These late picks probably won't mean too much, especially with the heavy already coming out, making chasing out of last so much harder. So yeah, exchange was messy. The play on second to begin with, I think you said could have gone Aura's way when they just aggressed, but I think Eames was just in the wrong spot. Should have played more around the combo and into the other combo instead of into the other flank and not hitting much there. Most people are just easily dodging him, so damage was lacking there, but they made up for it with really strong exchange and really good chase. Aura with a strong answer, but so is Kudu. Gets the snipe, everybody's just in, they just want to do damage reduction now. They want to find a way to Kelvin and force a messy
Oh my
fight.
god, they're getting so much cap time! What are they doing? This is absolutely crazy! My god, Eames getting... How's he hitting these pipes? He's still walking in, he's hitting another one! One pipe here, and he trade! Oh my god! That was so close!
It was the right decision too, to just go for the complete brain dead DM fest, because they got the medic. Sure, they could have won the round if they just got that slightly better, but that's the thing, this was the worst outcome and they still get out of this with almost 40% advantage now.
I can't even deal with that. That stresses me out, but like you said, you know, Martin, with his earlier spawns, it is going to be a completely usable advantage here. They can go deep and, like, with so much cap time, they're even having to play FXS a little bit towards a point in case of some, like, initiate kind of, you know, just run in, jump, stand on point, do whatever. This is going to be a really hard hold. You do see Voxtech getting his gun up. It is at least level 2 before this Uber's going to be coming in, but this is hard. You know, it's getting the old blood pumping today, and it does look like it's going to be far left right now. The combo wants to start moving. 100%, yep, we are going to be using it now. Kelvin, still 80%, all the way towards the left-hand side. Pyro's trying to deny for this gun, but they're getting so much position. They're pushing all the way forward, getting a lot of time. This soldier jumps in, tries to get things 90% on Kelvin. They're collapsing towards point. So much damage from Azunas, and they are going to be capping it. Or Electro. They're on their way back into this game.
Yeah, and if that's not a testament to just how important good timing is on the Roma bomb, then I don't know what is. Zunas just perfectly saw everybody in a point, everybody not paying attention to him at all coming in, so he has the freest time of his life, landing on everybody, blocking the point and getting all the kills to save that round for them, so making it close, but it took so long for them to get the second round on the board.
Absolutely, yeah, I don't know, I'm still trying to get over this, right? Okay, so going into this mid, we saw so many more mids being won by Warren Sons here, but this air shots from Poison. Okay, Everett picked up once again, completely out of the server. No reinitiation. War as well, too aggressive. He wasn't quite with the rest of his team. And once again, Warren Sons, they have to back up. There's no chance of them playing on second here. It is once again, Eames takes control of point. He's going to be sticking towards Shutter. They're going to have this equilibrium situation. They can even start looking to sack while War is there. They don't have long though. But I mean, this is a decent position to play in. 5 minutes left on the clock. They have time to start playing around with what they want to do for a sack. As of now, though, Azunas is going to jump into a gun and die.
For what it's worth, these mids have stepped up. There's somewhat passive mids where they're just standing up. That's the force. FX gets the force in lobby somehow. He just counter-sacks immediately. And no one was blocking anything. Just as I wanted to praise the improvement on the mid-fights they had, suddenly it just... I don't want to say falling apart completely, because they still have to make this work on Warren Sons, but it's so grim looking for them now to make this comeback still happen.
Yeah, I mean, playing that kind of stalemate, you know, it feels so comfortable. You can just sit on a second, you can go try attempt after attempt, but just one little mistake, not quite leaving lobby early enough, not quite watching these doorways. It is going to allow Warren Sons to push out if they want to, but I don't think they do. I think our boys got the fear right now. Yeah, they're going to be letting Martin get his Uber on up again. They're going to let him go for some more sack attempts. 4 minutes left on the clock. Lily Allen, the fear.
Yeah, and while that is still a huge time waster that Aura has to play through, it is at least something that they can still play through at all and not losing points here. And Aura Electro is so hard for us to get anything going, but Kelvin is just about staying safe. They actually walked back into danger, but the dispenser actually eats that, and they lost so many players on Aura, with Eames going down super late now as well. This is surely going to be a force. Fishkov tries his hardest there, everybody else following up. He gets that arrow actually, but doesn't get the surf he wanted. He got stuck on the little corner.
I mean, you know, credit. I mean, Eho's going to be getting this force attempt. We do have to see Azunas once again. He's the backup machine. Didn't quite prepare for that gun though, so unfortunate really. But Kelvin and the rest of his team, they're going to be taking control of second, and now 3 minutes left on the clock. I mean, it's not impossible for Aura Electro here, but I mean, they got to start really making things work. Once again, it's an equilibrium situation. I feel like if Martin could have just got out there, you know, if he could have just maybe got one slightly better surf, it would have been super good. We even actually see Voxtech still on engineer. He's putting a gun towards second. Kelvin's dying because half the team's just not really with them anymore. Their combos are trying to push solo into a bunch of... DuMmTm, what's going on?
That's just the definition of the makeshift strat. Sure, they have the gun to play defensive, but that means they didn't have a second scout with the medic. And suddenly there's just a soldier on Kelvin and no one's with him because somebody's just busy building a gun for the attempt to play super slow, but it's just not something they really practiced. Very much noticeably so. And it just cost them this huge advantage, just a sticky trap in the corner. That is the only thing that could save them, but these guys actually have brains, as you would expect on Premiership level, so
Yeah, that's
according
smart,
to that
you know?
at least. But there's still the Kunu sniper, and they had so much trouble with that so far.
They did, but there's so much either. Yeah, they're just going to be using it round. Eames tries to jump in. A la War, not quite getting the gun as easily, though. They're going to be moving towards this point, the flank. You're going to try and push towards the left-hand side. Kelvin's going to be nowhere near his Uber, so they have time to start focusing some of these frags. Fishcop, the first one going down. But the refrags, they're looking pretty good for Warren Sons. 4 versus 4, though. Eames is getting so much damage for, but he's just not really with the rest of his team. It's just scrappy stuff now. Martin all by himself. He's going to try and get out once again. As long as he can live here and not get chased down by Kunu, they will have an advantage, but getting difficult on timing. Kunu, all the way towards Choke. Does look like, yeah, Azunas. He's going to jump into him, sacrifice his own life to save Martin. I mean, perhaps wasn't necessary, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Well, either way, with the spawn times being this bad on Kevin and one of the other players, I don't remember which one, it's not that big of a deal to die here late. So it's a minute 20 left. It's certainly still enough time, especially with a decent ad, but it needs a stronger push here. Eames got just blasted away by the gun, so he couldn't take good position early on. And the coordination between flank and combo was so much worse than on the rounds that they did end up winning. They've shown they can do it twice in a row now, so they just need one more of those to make it happen. Martin has his Uber now, it's only 60 on Kelvin. Gun and Sniper are up for the defense.
Yeah, far left-hand side from the aggressive point of view, walking in. Uber's getting used, taking down this gun now. Like you said, Kelvin, 70%. Once again, they have this thing to start trying to get some frags. Martin's losing his life, so they got to play fast right now. And they're just getting absolutely torn apart by this defense of the Germans. And with Kelvin getting his Uber now, 95%, this is going to have to be, 40 seconds on the clock. There's time for some spawners, but we're going to need to see Kelvin drop it. Otherwise, there's going to be no real chance at all.
Yeah, and they're already having a scout on second to just cap this point, waste some time, and make this even more impossible, because they will have to dedicate people to that if it comes down to it. Or even putting 6 on there just to bait people into it, that's actually kind of smart. Does not overextend for it. Kunu gets a kill for it as well, but they don't quite get the cap, so that's not happening. But with 15 seconds, like you said, people just need to fall dead right now.
Yeah, they need to just do it. They're going to have to drop some boys. They're going to have to make some big old plays. 7 seconds on the clock. Kelvin's just usually re-stand on point. He's got a Plutus. He don't care at all. And this does look like it's going to be Warren Sun securing this map here. So looks like once again we're seeing traded maps. And I mean, apparently this is the season for like equality in Prem teams. You know, everyone's just trading maps with everyone.
The socialist season. Everybody's getting points, but no one's getting 6 unless you're 7. In which case, apparently, you just win everything. Yeah, really interesting game. And Aura did wake up. It just happened so late. It just happened honestly too late. If they had like 5 more minutes onto this game on the 2-3 scoreline, they could have tied this up, maybe won. But as it stands, these early rounds, these terrible midfights at the beginning of the game just costed them way too much. And adaptation is one thing, but it needs to happen in a timely fashion.
Exactly. We're going to have a little look at the log, see who is the most impactful here. I mean, once again, we're seeing demos topping the damage, as you would expect, but Big Daddy Warher, yeah, 355, 28 frags himself, and he was definitely a big boy this game. I mean, when your demo's getting, obviously, most damage and most frags, that's pretty significant. It feels like the distraction from the soldiers of Warren Sons was just so good for so many of these mids. It just allows War to just run forward with his stickies, with his pipes. Now, he's hitting all those crucial shots, but his soldiers are the ones buying him that space, allowing them to take this position. And like you said, it's so difficult to continue staying in the fight when you've got when you kind of keep losing mid after mid in such a kind of disastrous way. Like I said, they did start waking up, but the mids were looking good. I mean, you know, it wasn't all for nothing. We saw some good performances on the side of Aura Electra. I mean, we had some good stuff from Martin still as the Merc, and once again, Yeehor was getting some big old frags, but it just seemed like they weren't quite together. Is anything standing out for you, Dom?
Not particularly, I think, and I guess it's always better if you have the input directly from the players. So let's just get to those guys, because they're already here. Everybody's just inviting themselves in already. Anyway,
Team boys, you know.
So yeah, we got Kunu and MX from Warren Sons and Eames from Aura Electro here.
Poison's coming also, but he's just having some trouble with the mumble.
Oh no,
His name's Scoutbot.
Oh yeah, I see him. That's
Scoutbout.
Yeah. There we go.
Scoutbout. Fair enough. How's it going, guys? How are you feeling after that game?
Good.
Pretty good.
Could be worse.
Pretty sad.
Pretty sad.
Okay,
Yeah, not the happiest, but
let's I think, you know,
first map team, you know.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Viaduct a second, right? So we went into
Please
this
do.
game. Both me and Dum were thinking Warren Suns. They got some good results. They looking pretty hot for this map. You know, we both predicted Warren Suns were going to win it, and then we saw kind of after the first round, we saw some real kind of dominance from side of or Electro. I guess my real question is to our Warren Suns players, did it feel like kind of what did it feel like anything in particular was going wrong? Was kind of your way of playing things not really working, or was it a case of you couldn't really get into your rhythm, or what did it feel like?
They like Yeehaw was just owning, and Eames was also just owning. I think that combo was like kind of just shattering our morale. Honestly, like rounds 3 and 4, we weren't really like tilted, but we were like.
Yeah,
you know, it's the whole like everyone's just going in at random times instead of like syncing stuff up, and we kind of not really trying. So yeah, it kind of got to us. I think we could have probably come back if we were sort of a bit like mentally more sound, but yeah, that's what it felt like for me anyway.
What I said after the game was it felt like we were two teams playing under one like colour. It felt like it was our scouts, War and Calvin, and our two Zollies half the time, which is obviously going to end up rough. And also Eames is a tank, 450 whatever DPM.
Thank you so much.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Obviously for the for our Electro guys, obviously like you know, it's pretty after that first round, things were a little bit shaky, but everything from there on out seemed like pretty dominating. Was this kind of was this what you expected going into Viaduct? Were you pretty confident, or were you a little bit kind of had some of the fear for your opponents?
I guess I would say we weren't really sure. You know, we were pretty confident last week, but we've had some kind of rough scrims in it, so it was kind of depended. But really, I think in contrast to last week, like where we were always being aggressive on by Feint, this week we were doing the aggressing, and it just made everything so much easier. So instead of just being bombed, I was just like standing on point, shooting at people who weren't looking at me. So I had quite an easy time compared to last week, where it was kind of awful. So I guess kind of took the initiative better. So I guess it went pretty well.
Fair enough then. How about going into Sunshine then? So we did hear, Eames, that apparently you reckon that Sunshine is your home city. Do you think?
I've never heard that. Eames.
Never heard it. Dum
No,
said it, right?
not from
If
Eames.
it's wrong, blame Dum, right? Either way,
Okay.
what do you think? Obviously, the mid seemed pretty disastrous. Seems like you guys kind of it took about 20 to 25 minutes to really get an answer to these mids. Do you think it really all came down to some of these early mid fights, or was there some other kind of holes in your game plan which Warren Suns were exploiting?
Well, obviously the last pushes from both teams were very clean. Actually, Poison, do you want to go for this one? I already answered.
All
I don't
right.
feel like I just
All right. Well,
stole
I
the
mean,
limelight.
it was down to the mids. I think like they won so many mids so dominantly that it was like really hard to like come back, and that's how they got the rounds in the first place. So it was definitely down to the mids. I think like we haven't really like scrimmed Sunshine that much, so our mids aren't that solid, and I guess like their like aggression kind of just climbed over us, and it only took us like it took us almost like a few rounds too late just to like get our mids back on track and like absorb all that aggression that was coming like from their soldiers and stuff.
Definitely felt that way to kind of look at it. It seemed like if there's maybe 5-10 minutes more on the clock, maybe you guys could have come back into it. But I mean, it all comes down to the dominancy getting that round advantage. I mean, I guess I'll probably stop stealing all the questions from Dum. My remaining question is, how hard did you scream, Eames, when you double wiped on last? Because that was very nearly the most beautiful play I've seen in recent years.
Oh yeah.
That was really stupid. I should have just packed up and then we would have won.
But what if you hit it, dude? What if you had hit the pipes?
Well, I did. What?
Did, but
You did. Well, yeah, but
they're both
what if you
so
hit them when
weak
they're
that
further
they, like,
away?
they
I should
die.
have just held S and then had them feed into me, but I guess it was just kind of extremely intense. I was trying to hold the W key to.
He was in the moment, guys.
It's in the moment.
Yeah, in the
He's in
moment.
the zone.
You were
Trying
in
to-
the fry clip.
He's trying to zone in. He's in the timer zone. He just has the time, the time ticking away in his head, and all he can think about is the W key. That's exactly what he pressed, unfortunately.
I respect that. Dum, I feel like I've asked about 40 questions and you've just sat there politely. You got any questions for our big boys here?
Well, you can ask the important questions about the game that just happened. So let's move forward a week into next week's game. So it starts with Warren Suns. You guys' next opponent will be Feint Gaming, who are looking pretty strong. I'm pretty sure they just won their official as well. So, like, what is the expectations here? Obviously, you guys want to still make playoffs, even if this wasn't quite the result you wanted. How is the expectations there?
Well, it's 3-3, isn't it? We're a 3-3 kind of team. We're just going to go the whole season, just 3-3 everyone. I think that's how it's going to go.
Fair play.
Well, it's got to be
Not even gonna
awkward in
argue with that.
playoffs now that we have a time limit on golden cats, but sure.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
No, I mean, I guess they are the top two, top three teams, so I guess I'm expecting them to win, but I'd like to take some points off. But, like, honestly, for our playoffs, I don't think it really matters that much. It's, like, really, like, Aura and top 5 who are, like, playoff contenders, I think, and we 3-3'd both of them, so who knows what will happen.
All right, on to Aura, whose next opponent is 7, which sounds really bad, but I think out of all the teams, you guys surprisingly have one of the better records against 7. So what is your expectations here?
What map are we playing?
It's got to be Logjam and Process.
It's two new maps,
Logjam.
so that's nice. I've only played Process like 60 million times. I
Yeah.
have it like clockwork, so that's gonna be kind of rough. But I don't know. I think we played pretty well against 7 because they kind of.
Yeah, we do.
We got their strat below. I've got a little fucking got a pad of paper next to me, and I just like I flip over the page and I just see exactly what Cadus is going to do because I've written it down so many times playing against him. So
I'm
That's
actually
the only
kinda-
team you scrim.
I'm
pretty
kind of
much.
surprised because our
They
mids,
love us.
like we got rolled by 7 in a scrim on Sunshine, so I downloaded the demo and just watched it from their Soldiers POV, and we just did that, and that's how we like owned you guys on the mid. I'm kind of surprised you didn't like know it was coming, you know, because it's just literally the 7 mid. It's like you just instantly bomb both soldiers onto the combo, and like everyone just runs underneath like a submarine mid, you know.
crazy
Well,
stuff.
if anyone's still got their like official to go this week, like just do that.
Do that, yeah.
Just,
But to be
just
fair,
dump your
that's
soldiers
just-
in.
That's one of the 2 mid 7 has on Sunshine. Please give them some respect.
But to be fair, that's the only one they did against us. So like in that particular scrim, so yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
Alright,
going to be
I
interesting.
think,
Any other hot takes on Logjam here now that we're on that topic, I guess?
Yeah, go on.
I got a cold take on it. I don't like Logjam because I haven't played it for like very long, and I haven't played it at all. In fact, I don't know. The last time I played Logjam was like many seasons ago.
Season 19, probably. something
Yeah,
like
It
that.
was
ancient
probably
at this point.
something like that. And even when it was around, I wasn't playing. Like I had a few seasons break, so I don't know how. We just have to like figure out the mids. I guess the mids will like tell.
I'm personally really surprised that it's still in the map pool. I really don't like it. Like, I don't know. Last
negative
seems-
works.
Last seems weird. You just like can't do anything. And then like mid is just so huge. Like, what do you do as a I guess like you just high bomb off the walls, but it feels like so big. You're like can't even physically get to the other side of it. You know, it's like a
It's like
soldier.
slightly different. That's like one more point of high ground on mid, but that's like the only big difference, really.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's something else to stand on now, but that's probably better for scouts than for the soldiers.
Yeah, true. They just have a little perch on the high ground.
Devil class, you know, devil. All right,
Okay.
I think we should probably wrap things up, let people get on with the rest of their night. So I guess we'll start doing some shout outs. Guess starting with Kuno.
Shout out team. Shout out you guys for doing the old casting thing. Appreciate it. That's all.
Fair enough. Eames.
Shout out to Demos and his Fortnite game, however it went.
Is that what?
Really?
That's why he didn't play today.
Oh no!
I didn't even
shout
know
out-
that. I just accepted the fact we had Martin because
Shout
I'm
out-
used to playing with him. So.
Shout out to whoever cursed Nevo's PC because he was playing on his friend's PC today and apparently it was not very good.
Oh.
That's it.
Everex, want to shout out whoever messed with Nevo's PC as well?
Shout out to the saboteur that kindly gave us the Sunshine game or whatever. So, shout out to my team and shout out to Stefan's config.
Dear Lord.
Fair enough. A wonderful. I'm gonna go for Scout Bout.
It's Poison.
great
Hi, I
a great
didn't
name,
change
Scout
my
Bout.
name when I
Oh,
joined
that's
the
a good name.
Mumble.
That's good. That's good. Who
So
can give some
I'm
shout
just
outs to?
Scout Bout. I'm scouting about
Scout Bout.
in the Mumble channel. I'll give a shout out to Aura. Thanks for picking me up. It's fun to play with you guys. Real sweet, wholesome stuff.
Aw.
Shout out to my parents. Cheers for
Wow.
putting up with me, TY.
You're not receiving
and
an
my
award.
gaming. And
Sounds like you've just won an Emmy or some shit.
no, I'm just shouting them out. Shout out to Everex for sorting out the mid and owning us, I guess.
Okay.
Nice.
Fair enough. Dumb. Give us
Hello,
give us
it
your
is
shout outs.
Elakor.
Hi, Elakor. You're not in this interview. I'm sorry.
Why do I feel like this is any other Frenchie but Anaku?
It's me.
Excellent. Dom,
Anyway,
give us some shout outs
Dude,
and we'll round it
nice
out.
accent.
You know, a shout out to Poison for being the least toxic bird I've seen in a while. Just from this
Thanks,
interview.
man. It's a shame I got this name though, but you know, my choice. My choice.
Shout outs to Eames for actually reacting to me sending him the message that the config was wrong. Because that's kind of relevant. And just shout out
Wait,
to
that annoyed me.
Yeah, no, okay, that happened like as we were pushing out of last, and like Eames put the message as we were pushing, and someone like read it out in Mumble. It like actually like messed up our push so badly. I think we instantly lost that
And we
round
got
because we just
back
got
cap.
back. Yeah, we just got back cap. Like, oh, I think the config needs changing, guys. I was like, oh, we could have just been pushing. We were like, oh, that was so dumb.
Sorry about that. That also happened against Feints. So.
It was tactical.
Tactical,
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
tactical. We need to change the config.
Yeah.
That's
just
a
for
very
the back
smart
cap.
player. Yeah.
It's in Eames' sketchbook, I think somewhere there.
I did actually do that on both my officials when it's been on our server, so I think that's actually my strat.
Okay,
Eames, you
I'm rounding things out. Okay, we're done. We're done with the cast.
Sorry.
The cast is over. I'm shouting out the players. Thanks for coming, and the teams, and Beta, and Dum. All you guys also watch TFTV1 because RGB is going to be casted, I believe, on this very channel this weekend. I think. Watch out for that. There's going to be tweets and stuff. RGB is going to be sick. Give some love to our American brothers. Other than that, we'll see you for one of our next games, which will probably be looking at week 4. I'm not quite sure when that'll be. Pay attention to more Twitter. Right.
probably Thursday as always.
It will be next week. Okay, we'll
Like
see you
4
guys next
games.
time.